So how do y'all, in particular, Monday lab? So there's kind of a big deal that I forgot to kind of record a video for to show you what's going on with. So for Monday lab, it's going to be a bit rough. We're going to be doing kind of our general introduction to here's the course, and we are immediately jumping into lab, which means day one, Monday, you need to show up with closed-toed shoes and goggles. Without those things, you won't be able to complete the lab. Everybody will be sad. Okay. After that, you haven't been acquainted with the lab. So we've got our canvas on screen. You can see everything there, all the stuff. Read through it, do it. But the biggest thing that you need to see for lab would be this thing right here. Okay. This is our forced copy Google Doc for the lab manual and notebook. So everybody's going to want to go through and click that link. It'll tell you, do you want to make a copy of this thing? Of course, my Chrome says, and you're going to say, yes, make a copy. I don't want a copy right now, but this is the document that you'll get. This is our lab manual. This is where you have all of the procedures for the individual labs. It's where you will complete your pre-labs. It's where you'll complete your in-labs. It's all contained within this one place. So Monday, people, extra important that you at least get this document so that you know what you're going to be doing on Monday. If you go through and look, what we start with is a table of contents. This table of contents is pretty awesome because it has clickable links. So if you want directions, you can click there and get it figured out. The biggest deal right now is that our first experiment is the solubility experiment, and you would like to know what the procedure is at this point. So we can click that. It'll now take us to that. Of course, procedure summary. If we scroll up just a little bit, we have the procedure text. This procedure text is going to walk you through everything that needs to happen for the very first experiment. Okay. Ideally, you minimally read that. Okay. That way you should be able to show up to the lab and have a rough idea of what you're doing so that you can get through the lab kind of on time, because we got a lot of stuff we're cranking through on Monday. If you really want to push it, which you should, you're going to want to read the background information, the procedure text, and then complete the pre-lab. The pre-lab starts with our introduction. I want you to draw what those things are supposed to be. You don't complete it, don't stress. It needs to get completed eventually. The sooner you do it, the better. Then we need a list of all of our chemicals. I started to fill in some of the chemicals, but not all of them. To get more rows within your table, all you have to go is to the last cell and click tab. That'll end in more rows. What you'll do is read through the procedure. Anytime you see a chemical, write that chemical name up in your table of physical constants. You would then need to find the hazards, structure, molar mass, density, melting point, and boiling point. The hazards you're probably going to have to do manually. The structure, you can kind of cheat is a loose term, within the Google Doc and put it where you want the picture to go, insert image, search the web, and you can now search for methylene chloride, structure, return, and you now have an image. You can click that, insert, and you would have the image. Okay, relatively minimal or digging on your part. Molar mass, density, melting point, and boiling point. If you've done it in the past, you're pretty much just doing a Google search for each chemical and getting that information entered in there. This link, I'll try and point to that again. This link up here takes you out to yet another spreadsheet that insists on being a copy. And you can enter the chemical names into that document. Okay, so again, we have to make a copy. Of course, it takes time to make that copy. And where it says benzene, toluene, change those names to whatever chemical you want. So let's say methylene chloride. Hit return, and we'll notice you'll see a little bit of loading happening at the far right. Note chem spider structure, molar mass, density, melting point, boiling point. That is intentionally sequenced. Control C and Control V. Whoops. I might actually have to have this whole cell selected just because it's all there. And copy and paste. We didn't see anything change because I'd already done that. Okay. And that way you have that information without having to manually go out each chemical. You're going to have to manually go out for all the hazards because hazards are just weird and difficult to deal with. Okay. That is the biggest thing that I think is going to be critical for Monday, is to make sure you know where the lab is. Okay. And that's that in the module, week 0, going back to it, you should read all of this stuff. Okay. So ideally you come in with questions on Monday and not waiting for me to explain it all. And then forced copy of the lab manual and notebook. That's going to be the big one. Okay. If we look at week 2 in the module, our modules are set up by week. Week 2, January 24th, that's our Monday. This is our solubility, background information, YouTube of the video of the lab. Like you could watch me do the whole experiment and talk through it. Gives you some information about the pre-lab, the in-lab. There's a quiz, which we'll talk about officially again, due later in the week. The post-lab and some other assignments. Okay, so Canvas does have it all kind of organized, but you'll be going out to Google Docs for the vast majority of the assignments this semester. With that, I wanted to keep it short. I appreciate you spending the time to take a look at this. If you've got questions, send me an email about it and I'll respond as fast as possible. If not, Monday shows up, you're going to be in for a surprise, but we're going to get started right away. We've got that time to be able to do it. Okay. So with that, I hope you have a good weekend. Look forward to talking with you on Monday.